The sun was hot that afternoon, and the road just outside of town was quiet. Not many cars passed through there, just a few trucks, maybe a tractor now and then. But today there was something different. A shiny red Mustang sat by the side of the road, its hood open, steam rising from the engine. A man in a white button-up shirt and dress shoes stood beside it, sweating and looking very out of place. He checked his phone. No signal. He looked at the engine. No clue what he was doing. "Great," he muttered. "Just great." His name was Marcus. He was used to boardrooms, computers, and big city life. He wasn't used to broken cars or dirt roads. The Mustang was supposed to be his weekend project, something fun. But now, it had turned into a headache in the middle of nowhere. Then he heard the sound of a bicycle coming up the road. A little black girl, maybe 10 or 11 years old, pedaled up slowly. She had curly hair tied up in two puffs, wore denim overalls, and had a small backpack hanging off one shoulder. She stopped a few feet away from the car and looked at Marcus, then at the engine. "Your car broke down?" she asked, hopping off her bike. Marcus nodded. "Yeah, looks like it. Mind if I take a look?" she said, already leaning her bike against a nearby fence. Marcus blinked. You know about cars?" The girl grinned and pulled a wrench from the side pocket of her backpack. "A little. My grandpa used to fix old cars all the time. He taught me stuff." Marcus shrugged. "Honestly, go ahead. I've got no idea what I'm doing here." The girl walked over to the engine and stood on her tiptoes to see inside. She poked around a bit, humming to herself. Marcus watched her, not sure whether to be amazed or worried. "Your belt's loose," she said after a minute, "and your battery cable's kinda wobbly." "That bad?" "No, not really. I can fix it if you got a wrench and maybe a rag." "I think I have those in the trunk," Marcus said, opening it up. Sure enough, there was a small toolkit inside. The girl wiped her hands on her overalls and got to work, tightening the belt and checking connections like she'd done 100 times before. Marcus leaned against the car, watching. "What's your name?" "Zaria," she said, not looking up. "What's yours?" "Marcus." "Nice to meet you, Marcus." He smiled. "You're something else, Zaria." "I get that a lot," she said with a small shrug. As she worked, he noticed something shiny on her finger, a small silver ring that seemed too grown-up for a kid her age. He thought about asking, but decided to wait. Something told him there was more to this girl than just her skills with a wrench. And in that moment, stuck on a dusty road with a stranger and a broken Mustang, something unusual was starting. Something real. Zaria didn't waste any time. After telling Marcus what was wrong, she grabbed the wrench and got right to work. Her hands moved quickly and confidently, twisting bolts and tightening belts like she had done it many times before. Marcus watched her closely. He wasn't sure what to expect when a little girl offered to fix his expensive Mustang, but now he was starting to believe she really knew what she was doing. "You sure you're okay?" he asked, a little worried. "This isn't easy stuff." Zaria shrugged and smiled. "I've been helping my grandpa since I was small. He taught me everything." Marcus raised his eyebrows. "Your grandpa? Was he a mechanic?" "Sort of," she said, wiping a bit of grease from her cheek. "He loved cars. He used to race them too. He said it's all about knowing the engine's heartbeat." Marcus laughed. "The engine's heartbeat?" "Yeah," Zaria said seriously. "You could tell what's wrong by listening closely." She asked Marcus to turn the key in the ignition. The engine sputtered, but didn't start. She listened carefully, then nodded. "Battery's weak, but it's mostly the belt," she said. "I'll tighten it one more time." She worked fast, her fingers steady. Marcus could see her determination. She wasn't just a kid playing around. She really wanted to help. After a few minutes, she told Marcus to try again. He turned the key, and the engine roared to life, strong and smooth. Marcus smiled wide, feeling a mix of relief and surprise. "Wow, you did it." "Told you," Zaria said, brushing off her hands. Marcus reached into his pocket. "I want to give you something for your help." Zaria shook her head. "No thanks. I didn't do it for money." "Then why?" "Because I like fixing things," she said simply. "And because my grandpa would have wanted me to." Marcus was quiet for a moment. He looked at her ring again, the small silver band on her finger catching the sunlight. "That's a nice ring," he said softly. "Does it mean something?" Zaria hesitated, then nodded. "My mom gave it to me before she left. She said it would remind me to always be strong." Marcus felt a pang in his chest. He realized this little girl had already been through a lot. Yet here she was, helping a stranger fix a fancy car on the side of the road without asking for anything. "You're stronger than most grown-ups I know," he said quietly. Zarya smiled shyly. "Thanks." For a moment, they just stood there, two very different people connected by a broken car and a small moment of kindness. Then Zarya grabbed her bike. "I should get going." Marcus nodded. "Thank you, Zarya. You really saved me today." She waved and pedaled away, leaving Marcus standing there, feeling like this chance meeting was the start of something bigger than just a car repair. After the Mustang roared back to life, Marcus and Zarya sat on the edge of the dusty road, catching their breath. The engine was purring, but the silence between them was comfortable. Marcus felt curious. There was more to this little girl than just fixing cars. "So," Marcus said, breaking the quiet, "how did you learn all this? Most kids your age don't know anything about engines." Zarya shrugged. "My grandpa was the one who taught me. He loved cars. Used to race old Mustangs like yours." She looked down at her hands, tracing invisible patterns on her knees. "He showed me how to listen to the engine. Said every car talks if you know how to hear it." Marcus smiled. "Sounds like he was a good teacher." "He was," Zarya said softly. "But he's not here anymore. He died last year." Marcus's smile faded a bit. "I'm sorry. That must be hard." She nodded. "Yeah, but I keep fixing cars to remember him. It's like he's still with me." Marcus looked at her differently now. This wasn't just a kid with a wrench. This was someone carrying a story, a history. "What about your mom?" he asked gently, remembering the ring. Zarya's eyes darkened for a moment. "She left when I was little. Gave me this ring before she went away. Said it was so I could be strong." She held up her hand, the silver ring shining in the sun. "That's a powerful gift," Marcus said. "Not everyone gets something like that." "I know," Zarya said, smiling a little. "Sometimes it feels heavy, though, like I have to be strong all the time." Marcus leaned back on his hands, thinking, strength isn't just about fixing things or being tough. It's also about knowing when to ask for help. Zarya looked at him, curious. "You think so?" "Yeah," Marcus said. "And you helped me today more than you realize. Not just with the car, but with reminding me that people can surprise you." Zarya laughed softly. "You sound like you're learning something." "Maybe I am," Marcus admitted. "I came here for a quick visit, but I think I'm getting a lot more." Zarya smiled wider. "You're welcome to stay longer, There's more to see around here." Marcus looked at her, surprised by the invitation. "Maybe I will." For a moment, the two sat quietly, enjoying the simple calm of the roadside. Marcus realized that sometimes the best stories start when you least expect them. And right now, he was part of one. As the sun began to dip lower in the sky, Marcus felt something shift inside him. A mix of hope, curiosity, and a strange feeling of connection. All because of a little girl with a wrench and a silver ring. "You said." Part 4, 500W. Zarya took a step back from the engine and wiped her hands on her overalls. "Okay, try turning the key again," she said, looking up at Marcus. Marcus nodded and slid into the driver's seat. He put the key in the ignition and turned it. The engine sputtered, coughed, and then, like magic, it roared to life. The sound was deep and powerful, the way a Mustang's engine should sound. Marcus smiled wide, surprised and relieved. "You did it," he said, his voice full of amazement. Zarya grinned, her eyes sparkling. "Told you I could fix it." Marcus laughed and reached into his pocket. "I want to give you something for this." She shook her head quickly. "No, I don't do this for money." "Then why?" Marcus asked, curious. "Because I like it," she said simply. "Fixing cars, helping people." Marcus looked at her, noticing how calm and sure she was. It was rare to meet someone so young with such confidence. Then he saw the ring again, the small silver band on her finger, shining in the sunlight. He leaned closer. "What's the story with that ring?" Zarya looked down and touched it softly. "My mom gave it to me before she left," she said quietly. "She told me to always be strong." Marcus nodded slowly, feeling something deeper behind her words. He realized this girl had been through a lot but still stood strong, helping a stranger on a hot afternoon. "You're pretty strong, Zarya," he said, smiling. "Thanks," she replied shyly. The Mustang's engine rumbled steadily now, ready to hit the road again. Marcus closed the hood and looked at Zarya. "How about a ride? I want to thank you properly." Zarya hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "Sure." Marcus opened the passenger door for her. She climbed in carefully, her eyes wide with excitement. As he drove down the dusty road, Marcus felt a strange sense of happiness. It was more than just fixing a car. It was the connection between two very different people. A millionaire and a little girl, brought together by chance, sharing a moment neither would forget. And as the Mustang's engine purred beneath them, Marcus knew this was just the beginning. After the ride, Marcus and Zarya stopped near a big oak tree by the side of the road. The sun was starting to lower, casting long shadows across the ground. Marcus glanced at Zarya again, his eyes drawn once more to the small silver ring on her finger. "I keep thinking about that ring," he said quietly. "Can you tell me more about it?" Zarya looked down at her hand and traced the ring's smooth edge with her thumb. "It's from my mom," she said softly. "She gave it to me before she left." Marcus waited patiently, sensing there was a deeper story behind her words. "She said it was a promise," Zarya continued. "A promise that I should always be strong, no matter what happens." Her voice was calm, but there was a quiet sadness in her eyes. "Did she say why she left?" Marcus asked gently. Zarya shook her head. "Not really. Just that she had to go. That she loved me and wanted me to be okay." Marcus felt a lump in his throat. Here was this brave little girl, carrying a heavy story no one should have to bear alone. "That's a lot for someone so young," Marcus said. "How do you stay strong?" Zarya smiled faintly. "Sometimes it's hard, but I think about my grandpa too. He always told me, 'You're stronger than you think.'" Marcus nodded. "Sounds like he believed in you a lot." "He did," Zarya said. "That's why I keep fixing cars. It helps me remember him and keep going." Marcus looked at her with new respect. She wasn't just a kid with a wrench. She was someone with hope, courage, and a big heart. "Thank you for sharing that with me," he said. "You're one of the strongest people I've ever met." Zarya shrugged, but there was a small smile on her lips. "I'm just doing my best." They sat in silence for a moment, watching the sun set behind the trees. Marcus thought about his own life, his busy city world, his work, and the little things he often took for granted. This little girl, with her worn overalls and shiny ring, had reminded him what really mattered. "I'm glad I met you today, Zarya," Marcus said sincerely. "Me too," she replied. And as the sky turned orange and pink, the two strangers sat together, connected by more than just a broken Mustang. They were connected by a story of strength, loss, and hope. After fixing the Mustang and sharing stories under the oak tree, Marcus offered Zarya a ride home. She hesitated for a moment, then nodded. She trusted him. As they drove down the quiet roads, the town passing by slowly, their conversation grew more relaxed. "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Marcus asked, glancing at her. Zarya smiled brightly. "I want to build cars. Not just fix them, but make new ones. Maybe even open a garage for kids like me." Marcus was surprised. "A garage for kids?" "Yeah," Zarya said, eyes shining. "A place where kids can learn about engines and fix cars and build things. A place where they don't feel stuck or forgotten." Marcus felt a warmth spread inside him. Here was a little girl with big dreams, dreams that went beyond herself. "That's a wonderful idea," he said sincerely. "You have a real vision." Zarya shrugged, her smile softening. "Sometimes it feels hard. Not many people believe in me." "I do," Marcus said firmly. "And I want to help you make that dream come true." Zarya looked at him, surprised but hopeful. "Really? Really?" The rest of the drive was filled with talk about cars, school, and dreams. Marcus shared stories about his work, and Zarya told him about her life with her grandma and her grandpa's lessons. When they reached her house, a small but cozy place at the end of a quiet street, Zarya hopped off the car. "Thank you for the ride," she said, smiling. "Thank you for fixing my car," Marcus replied, "and for reminding me what's important." Zarya waved as she walked inside. Marcus sat in his car a moment longer, thinking about the day's unexpected turn. He realized that this little girl had opened a door he didn't know was there, a door to hope, kindness, and new possibilities. And maybe, just maybe, Helping Zarya would help him find something he'd been missing all along. The next morning, Marcus woke up thinking about Zarya. He couldn't forget the way she worked on his Mustang or the story she shared. He decided to call her. After a few rings, Zarya's cheerful voice answered. "Hi, Marcus. What's up?" "Hey, Zarya. I wanted to say thanks again. And maybe, if you're okay with it, I'd like to help you with your dream." There was a pause on the other end. Then she said, "Really? You do that?" "Absolutely," Marcus said. "I have some contacts and resources. We can figure out how to get your garage ideas started." Zarya's voice got excited. "Wow, Marcus, that means a lot." They talked for a while, making plans and sharing ideas. Marcus realized how serious Zarya was about building a better future, not just for herself, but for others too. "You remind me why I started my business," Marcus said. "To make a difference. And you're making a difference right now," Zarya said. "Helping me." After the call, Marcus felt a strong sense of purpose. He wanted to keep this promise. Later that day, he stopped by a local car shop, picking up some tools and supplies to bring to Zarya next time they met. He thought about the ring she wore, the strength it symbolized. He knew this was more than a chance meeting. It was a new beginning, and Marcus was ready to be part of it. A week later, Marcus returned to the small town, this time with tools, supplies, and a plan. He wanted to help Zarya start her dream, a garage where kids could learn to fix and build cars. He found Zarya waiting outside her house, smiling wide when she saw him. "Ready?" she asked. "Absolutely," Marcus said. They went to an old, empty building nearby. It was dusty and worn down, but to Zarya, it looked like a palace. "This will be our garage," she said, eyes shining. Marcus smiled. "And we'll make it great." They spent the day cleaning, fixing broken windows, and organizing tools. Marcus showed Zarya some of the equipment he brought. She was amazed, things she had only dreamed about. "This is better than I imagined," Zarya said, her voice full of hope. Marcus looked at her ring and said, "Remember what your mom said, to always be strong." "I think you already are." Zarya nodded. "And now I have help." The sun set as they stood in the middle of the garage, tired but happy. Marcus knew this was just the start, not only for Zarya, but for many kids who might come here one day. He felt grateful for the broken Mustang and the little girl who fixed it, because sometimes the smallest moments can change everything.